I'm getting married. There's gonna be hundreds of wedding guests, huge plates of biryani, hennaed hands, and a handsome groom. But this isn't my wedding.
My wedding's not for another 6 months, and before the aunties pick me apart, I'm trying to figure out how to do things right. You see, the arranged marriages of our parents' generation look really different than relationships now. And weddings aren't just a party. They set the tone for what our futures look like as hyphenated Americans.
Hi, I'm Shreen. I'm Indian American, and this is my fiancé Soheb. He's also Indian American. We're in the middle of planning our traditional Indian wedding here in the US. And when I say traditional Indian, I should say Muslim, because in India there are Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, and more. And they all have different wedding traditions, which are intensely debated. Making the wrong call could lead to family boycotting your wedding day.
It's complicated.
First point of contention, the dress. This is my little sister Yasin. Today she's helping me shop for my wedding dress.
So this would be really nice for your sangeet or your henna.
There are so many dress options for brides these days. I could wear a traditionally red lehenga like this, a super modern fusion one like this, or something in between.
What do you think of this? Ooh, it's pretty from the front. Yeah. What does it look like in the back?
Oh my God, it's backless.
What would Mom say if I wore this?
She wouldn't let you wear it.
I think if I were a Hindu or a Sikh bride, I could totally rock this. But for a Muslim bride, it would just be too scandalous.
Yeah.
Would you ever want to wear something like this?
As a bridesmaid?
As a bride.
I don't really want to be a bride.
How come?
I don't really believe in marriage. I think that there's just so much pressure on, like, of course, you're gonna get married and we'll find a person to, like, be this placeholder. And I just don't see that for myself. Weddings are such an insane, like, capitalist industry. You could take that money and be, like, part of a way to a down payment on a house.
Yasin, if you don't get married, you'd be the first woman in our family to opt out of marriage intentionally.
That's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
Because then it's like, what does that open up for my life?
My sister has a point, but getting married is at the core of my Indian identity. Before me, almost all the marriages in my extended family have been arranged. The aunties would get together and swap details on wedding resumes to find the right match, someone with the same religion, language, and status. But I never wanted an arranged marriage. My fiancé and I have what's called a love match, which means we found each other without involving our parents. And we waited until we were in our 30s to get married, which is really old in Indian standards.
And just because our families are both Indian doesn't mean they have anything in common. They don't even speak the same language.
Yeah, like mine. They speak Gujarati. Kem cho?
And mine speaks Urdu. I don't understand a word of what your family says.
And it only gets more complicated if you marry outside the culture. Enter Jessica and Hardeep. Her family is German and Christian. His family is Punjabi and Sikh.
We both met each other on the online game World of Warcraft. And we met each other killing monsters. He would send something in Punjabi and I'd have to translate it.
Oh, wow.
And then I'd send something in German and then he'd have to translate that.
Jessica and Hardeep kept their relationship secret from his parents for 9 years.
I'm the first in my family to marry someone who is not desi.
And that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Who did your parents want you to marry?
So my parents wanted, in perfect scenario would be someone desi from Punjab who's Sikh, speaks Punjabi, and is familiar with all the traditions.
And you brought home
one girl.
It was definitely difficult to be the secret. I had told him numerous times over and over again, you need to tell them. And he's like, I don't want to be kicked out and I don't want to lose them. I mean, I can totally understand that.
If you look back at 1940s, 1950s, you didn't even see who you married. Your parents just went over to another parent's house, they talked to each other, and you were engaged. And you didn't even see your bride or the groom. Me, I'm just complete opposite of that culture. I've decided everything.
When he finally got the courage to tell his parents about Jessica, things got so heated that they stopped talking for a while.
My dad was fine with it right away, but my mom, she's more traditional, and she was more stuck on, oh, you should marry a desi girl. But eventually she came around.
I can understand Jessica and Hardeep's situation because my older sister Yazi also married outside the culture.
Tell me about some of the traditions that you grappled with when you were wedding planning.
Well, I really wanted to make sure that the ceremony reflected us as a couple, that our partnership is a partnership and it's an egalitarian partnership. So, for example, we had a woman officiate our nikah,
Which was a big deal.
which was a big deal.
In Muslim weddings, the nikah is when we sign the Islamic marriage contract. In Sikh weddings, couples circle the holy book 4 times to get married. And during Hindu weddings, they take 7 steps around the ceremonial fire.
Modesty is so important. Even in Bollywood movies, for the longest time, there was never ever kissing. And like the couple's faces are so close together, but they would never kiss.
During the wedding ceremony, we did not. We walked out and we had a private moment to ourselves, and our first kiss was right there.
I'm struggling with that. It does feel like a loss to me.
How come?
I've been watching movies for 30 years where after you seal your union, you kiss.
To me, getting to stand up in front of like all our friends and family was sealing our union.
I'm not sure if we're gonna kiss on our wedding, but I really want to. Assalamualaikum, Mom. Something that Sohaib and I really want to have is dancing, but dancing can be a bit of a taboo in our community. So why is that?
Well, traditionally, we do have dancing in our weddings, but the women dance with the women and the men dance with the men. You know, touching is not allowed.
Would it make you uncomfortable if we pulled you onto the dance floor?
Maybe, a little bit.
What about if we pulled John and Baba on the dance floor?
Oh, now you're asking for war.
What my mom is saying is that you probably wouldn't see this at a desi Muslim wedding. But this is Jessica and Hardeep's wedding, and Punjabis are known for dancing. Sohaib's parents, by the way, also have reservations about dancing at our wedding.
Yazi got married and I'm next, so of course all eyes are gonna point to Yasin. What are your thoughts on Yasin not wanting to get married?
I have my connections, so I'm reaching out to my connections.
What does that mean?
I'm praying to God that He turns Yasin's mind, and inshallah she'll change her mind and inshallah get married and, you know.
So if I don't change my mind?
Well, I will keep praying. We'll see who wins.
But Mom, that's kind of interesting because you are divorced and you and Dad, your marriage didn't work out and you're so happy being a single, independent person. So why is marriage so important for Yasin if we've seen that the marriage can be quite flawed?
If I hadn't gotten married, I wouldn't have had you 3. And you are the most precious things in my life. I wouldn't have missed that.
Even my grandpa, who we call Baba, is trying to change Yasin's mind.
Well, she will get married, but now she is not convinced.
So you think I'll change my mind?
Of 100%.
What if I don't change my mind?
Let us wait and see.
There's one more thing I haven't talked to Sohaib about yet, the meher. It's a Muslim marriage tradition of a cash gift the groom gives the bride. It's the opposite of a dowry, which the bride's family pays the groom, and is common in Hindu weddings. On Jessica and Hardeep's wedding day, we saw something lighter. Hardeep was blocked from entering the Gurdwara until he paid Jessica's family to step aside.
I'm really nervous to talk to you about the meher because it feels totally anti-feminist to choose a number, negotiate that number, and then expect my partner to pay for it. And it just seems really old school.
No, I think you get to use that, that's your money. You get to use that the next day if you wanted to.
Have you heard that there's a number that is the traditional number to give as a meher?
Yeah, so there's a way to calculate what that meher would be in today's terms.
What's the equivalent in the present day? Scroll, scroll, scroll. In dollars, it is approximately $396.70.
Yes.
And then it ends with, and Allah knows best.
Allah knows best. He knows the bestest. I think it would be helpful to understand the process if you talk to my mom or my sisters.
Or my dad.
Yeah, or your dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, beta.
Assalamualaikum. How you doing? So, Pop, I have some questions about meher. Why is that important?
It is like her piggy bank. God forbid something happen, an accident, fight or whatever, so she could just lean on her own funds.
What would the minimum be?
15,000 maybe?
I don't know, that sounds like a lot, Dad. I feel like I'm earning, so why would I ask for so much money?
Yeah, but it still is a requirement that you could make it, 10,000 is not a big deal.
10,000 is reasonable, in your opinion.
It's not much. You can't even buy a car with that money.
Used car. Okay, Pops. Well, thanks for your advice. As I'm making decisions about our wedding, I now realize that it's okay to switch things up. Culture evolves, and our perspectives will too. On our wedding day, Soheb and I will be reinventing Indian traditions to fit our American lives, even if it doesn't please the aunties. Oh, and back to that whole kissing thing. Cool, so we're doing it?
Sure.
Yes, really?
Yeah, if you want to kiss at the wedding, we can kiss at the wedding.
I do. Thanks for watching our video on Indian weddings. Let me know what conversations you're having about tying the knot or not tying the knot. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what Untold Stories cover next.